of basics of management covers joint stock company and how to raise the capital on and advantage and disadvantages and classification. There are two major disadvantages in the sole trader partnership. That is a limited capital and unlimited liabilities. The capital raised is less as compared to this type of business, joint stock company. The name itself indicates joint stock. And liability is also unlimited in case of sole trader or partnership. These two limitations are overcome by joint stock companies. In this type of business organization have limited liabilities. The liabilities will be shared among the more number of people. In this system, capital is contributed by a large number of people, large number of persons, maybe friends, relatives, or in the general public. The capital is raised by selling of shares of different values, maybe 10 rupees 10 or 100. And person who purchases the shares are called shareholders or the owner of the company. Who have the shares, they are the owner for the company. They are called as shareholders. Managing this type of organization requires directors. Therefore, the managing body known as a board of directors. Directors. They are elected by these shareholders. The board of directors are responsible for policy making and they are the important finance and technical decision takers. They are the main responsible for efficient working of an enterprise or a business. In this form of organization, liability of the shareholder is limited to the extent of amount of shares held by him. Share may be 10, 100,000 or more than also. Depending on that, the liability will be, and he is free from the responsibility of the debts. And claims on the company beyond the values of shares. Here, because of disadvantage, all sections of peoples are encouraged to contribute for the company. This is limited liabilities. And these shares are transferable also. Whatever the shares held by a person, it will be sold to the others. Otherwise, it will be transferred to the others. And owners of the company also by shares will be getting. Therefore, because of advantage of all sections of people are encouraged to contribute for the company. Therefore, you can raise a huge fund for the stock company. There are basically two types of joint stock companies. One is a private limited company, another one is a public limited company. The private limited company, in this type, company can be formed by two or more persons. Minimum two members are required and maximum it is limited to the 50. And in this transfer of shares are limited. In case of public sector, transfer may be to the any person. But here, the transfer of shares is limited to the members only and not for the general public. General public cannot be invited to subscribe the shares. Normally, the members of such a company are friends and relatives only. In the system, persons who want to take the advantage of limited liabilities and at the same time keep the business as private as possible can subscribe. They are not involved in the business. They are only investing on the business. Therefore, they same time it keeps the business as a private as possible can subscribe. Then public limited company. One side private limited company, another side is a public limited company. It is a one whose membership is open to the general public. As its name indicates, it's a public limited company. Therefore, the ownership, otherwise the membership will be goes to the general public by buying the company's shares. The minimum number is required for such a company is 7, and maximum there is no limit, but there is a no upper limit for the members. Such company can advertise to offer its shares. But how to raise the capital? How to know the people to invest on that? Therefore, while starting a company, they are prepared the prospect of the company or even in the expansion also to a prospect. In that detailed things will be mentioned, the company's risk as well as futures, features of the company as well as prospect of the company will be mentioned in the prospect. These public limited companies are subject to greater control and supervision by the government. The public are investing on that. Therefore, the company will be controlled and supervised by the government. That's how to raise the funds on these stock companies. First one is a issue of shares, and second one is a issue of debentures, and sometimes maybe the loans, advances from the banks and other funds, financial institutions like LIC or UTI, and sometimes loans from the state banks, state-owned banks, state loans from industrial corporations and SFCs, state finance corporations, or through IDCs, industrial development corporations. These are the different way to raise the funds for the joint stock companies. Then what are the advantages in the joint stock companies? In case of sole trade concern or partnership firms, the liability is unlimited. Whatever the loss or profit that will be shared by single or few people in the partners. But in case of joint stock company, the risk is very low. The risk will be shared by more number of people, otherwise they are the shareholders. Therefore, it is a risk is divided among the shareholders. And professional management. The company will be managed by the professionals or experts. Therefore, experts' knowledge will be utilized to the development of organization. In case of partnership or even in the sole trading concern, death of single person or in a member of the partnership, it ceases the business or ceases the working of the organization. But here, in this case, the shareholder, daily shareholders' death will be does not affect on the organization or company, and it has a great potentiality for expansion. In case of single or sole trading concern or partnership companies, the investment is less. Single person to invest or partnership firm, the partners are to invest. The chances of expansion of company by investing more money is limited in those two cases. But here you can expand by raising certain additional funds or reinvesting the profits on expansion. What are the disadvantages of joint stock companies? Here, interest, the personal interest is less. The people in the management or professional management, they are less interest on the industries or organization, this type of organization. And scope of directors or others to manipulate the company for personal profit. Here, the professionals or directors can manipulate the companies for their personal profit also. In this form of business, there are hundreds of investors or thousands of investors from different parts of the country who invest their savings but very rarely come to attend the general body. They have the power to vote, otherwise attend the general body, annual general body meeting, or exercise an effective checks, but it is unlimited. Such persons offers unlimited scope of auction cautious persons to secure control over the companies and deceive the innocent shareholders. It's a major disadvantage of non-stock companies. And it requires a large number of legal formalities. The government will be supervise this type of organizations, and the formalities are too much to be observed because of this one is a public sector company. It is difficult to preserve secrecy in these companies. In case of sole trading concern or in the partnership firm, secrecy will be easily maintained. But here it is not easy as sole trader or partnership firms. Okay, I'll be thankful to the Nagraj sir and our chairman, Y.R. Nagraj, and Vijay Shetty sir as our moderator.